Hey, how you doing? I hope you're having a great week. This week I wanted to talk about my 1 year anniversary of no longer being on Accutane. I can't believe it's been a year today since I called it quits on my Accutane, aka Roaccutane, aka Tretinoin course. I think I had like 2 more months to go at the time, and after talking about it with my boyfriend and with my mum, and they knew how miserable I was on it, I decided to finally give it up. And this video I wanted to talk about what I've learned in these 12 months since going off Accutane. So you hear a lot about Accutane, the symptoms. It's pretty notorious for what people go through both physically and mentally, and honestly when I think about the experience, yeah, I don't know if it's something I would recommend. So the first thing I noticed when I finished my course of Tretinoin was that my hair started to go back to normal. It was really dry, which was pretty much the way everything is for the entire duration of the course. I found that previously I was able to have maybe a couple days before I'd have to wash my hair again, because my hair type, I'm prone to very oily roots quickly. But I found when I was on Tretinoin that I could literally get away with it for a week. Like, it was amazing in that sense. I thought, wow. But obviously, even though the roots are dry, that means also the rest of the hair is very dry. And obviously I highlight my hair, so that was definitely not good for me for the mid and end lengths of my hair when that occurred. So that was the first thing I noticed, was that my roots were starting to go back to being a bit oily, and I was no longer able to go days without having to wash it and just kind of refresh or put it up. I would have to slowly go back to the norm, which is every other day. Then with that, I also noticed my T-zone areas and areas of the body, such as like the shoulders, back, or like the chest, and get quite sweaty. Say if you're working out, I found that they would get quite oily once again, and I'd always had that issue when I hit puberty onwards. I had extremely oily skin, and that was the reason why I was breaking out, not just on the face but all over the body, and that's why I was looking at Accutane as a way to combat that. When I had stopped Accutane, after a couple months, the skin started to go quite oily again, but nowhere near as oily as it was prior to the treatment. I do feel like even a year on, my skin is not as oily. Obviously, if I work out, like, I'll sweat like normal, and I have to make sure that I go in the shower straight away, or else I will break out. But that's pretty normal. I'm thinking, you know, day to day, just every kind of day where I'm not sweating profusely, how my skin is, and it's just kind of pretty much been the same. The one thing that I've noticed though is that the combination, so I do get oily on the T-zones, but I've noticed that the areas that were slightly dry before, they are a lot more dry. So it's a bit more extreme. It's like some areas are oily, but some areas are really dry. And so that means that I have to pay particular attention of where I'm applying certain products, because that area of the skin may not require that type of product. So I have to be more mindful, and I do believe that it has been a kind of an ongoing experience to get to know what my skin prefers now, because obviously beforehand and during treatment and after treatment there's been a lot of changes for the skin, and so not every product that was helping before will be beneficial now. With that said, because I wasn't breaking out as much since I had finished the course of Accutane, I found that when I was breaking out, I was able to put a finger on what it was. So if I had reacted to a topical product I put on my body, such as literally a few days ago, I was really lazy and just needed a moisturizer. I picked up a Vaseline moisturizer and I put it on, and my skin did not like me for it, let's say, and that was something I was like, well, I know that's exactly the reason why, and then I stopped using it. But also, when I eat foods that I know my body is not very happy with, then my skin is usually the last area that shows me that it wasn't happy with that food choice. And because I wasn't breaking out so much day to day because of the excess oil in my skin, it allowed my body to show me through my skin and how my skin was reacting, if I was reacting to something I had digested or applied on the skin directly. One thing I've noticed even 12 months on is that I still can burn very easily. Even before I was using like SPF 50, but one thing I've noticed even after the course that I'm having to apply a couple times a day just because I need to make sure that I'm really helping my skin. What I noticed when I was on the course of Accutane, I did do a video this time last year when I decided to give up the Accutane, so we'll post it up there if it is something you want to go check out. But my skin was extremely sensitive to sunlight. Even when I was applying loads of SPF 50 all day every day, I would still burn. And I've noticed that even though it's 12 months on, my skin is extremely susceptible to burns. And also on the back of that as well, I've noticed 12 months on a lot more fine lines, little bits that people can't notice, but I noticed because I knew they weren't there before. Fine lines on my forehead, also under eyes a little bit. I have some like freckles here, which I didn't have before, and that's obviously like sun damage. Got a lot more freckles on the shoulders, and I know that was definitely sun damage. I was wearing a couple off the shoulder tops and dresses last year, and I know that even though I was using the SPF 50 and I was topping it up throughout the day, it was obviously just not enough. Now they do recommend you wait at least 6 months after you finish the treatment before you can put on topical retinoids onto the skin to help, say if you're wanting to get rid of little freckles or sun damage marks or fine lines. And so even though it's been 12 months, I've only kind of just got back onto applying topical retinoids. And the one that I've been using is Medic 8. I've only just started using it. I am enjoying it so far. It's still very early days, but I will be documenting the before and after to see if there is actually any improvement in these areas. This one is a Crystal Retinal 3, a stable retinal night serum, and it's medium strength vitamin A, so it definitely is one to check out if you're wanting to try something. I think because they use something like called a Retinal, it's supposed to be a lot more fast acting, and if I think on their website they did mention that you can start to see visible improvements in as little as 8 weeks, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, if you haven't already, maybe check out Medic 8. If you're based in the UK like me, then you'll find that it's really difficult to get vitamin A, tretinoin over the counter. I know like different countries you can just literally go buy it in their drugstore, but over here you have to have a prescription, and that's quite annoying. So that is a good alternative if you're looking to help the fine lines or any sun damage that you've noticed on your skin since coming off Accutane. I've noticed 12 months on is that my skin is permanently thinner. Now Accutane essentially does permanently damage the skin. It is one of those things that skin doesn't just go back to normal. That is the whole point of going on it, is to permanently change the way that the cells are created and they renew. And so with that said, even now if I skin pick on my face and maybe beforehand it would take a little while for it to fully bleed, then this time it would take half the amount of time for it to bleed, and it would take double the amount of time for that redness to go away. It leaves the skin extremely sensitive, and 12 months on I thought that would no longer be an issue, but it is, and I don't suppose I'm the only person who will experience that. It could be something that I experience forever, that's fair enough. Ultimately it was my decision to go on Accutane, but it is something that I have to be very consciously aware of. That does also help me to skin pick a bit less, because I'm aware that I can potentially cause a lot more harm a lot sooner. My rational brain is switched on and my skin picking urges are high. It does make me think twice before going on a full-blown skin picking session. Now I do talk about it in that video I posted last year when I finished the Accutane, but the blepharitis, oh my god, that was the bane of my life. And honestly, I'm just getting through another one now. I can't believe that a year later I have been given it once again. Absolutely atrocious. I had so much of an issue, like the entire time I was on Accutane I had blepharitis, and it literally just, it made me so upset so often. It's so uncomfortable. And I've got it once again. I do believe that long term it has affected the lubrication of my eyes, and I do wonder if I'm going to have dry eye, like chronic dry eye, for the rest of my life. Maybe later on in life it's one of those gifts that keep on giving, where I have, you know, permanently damaged my eyes in terms of how they self-lubricate. But that's just something I'm going to have to find out over time. The things I noticed were a bit more ingrown hairs, and someone who has dermatillomania, it's really tempting to spend a lot of time removing the ingrown hairs. Now I do believe that's because the skin is drier, so areas of the body that tend to get dry, such as like the arms and the legs, they do have a lot more bumps, and I have to make sure I'm exfoliating fairly often to remove those and allowing the hair follicles to actually surface up and out of the skin and not getting blocked by the dry skin. But that was not an issue prior, and I do believe that could well be something that is just going to continue. On top of that, I also suffered quite a lot of dandruff this past year when it was the colder months, and also after Accutane. I think my skin, especially my scalp, were trying to readjust to things, and one thing I did encounter was quite a lot of dandruff. I noticed that, and I did use Noughty's Caretaker Scalp Tonic Lotion, which is 100% vegan. It's 97% natural, so it's full of really good natural ingredients, and it's very lightweight. It's literally like water. You just apply a couple drops to the scalp and then you just massage it in. It's really fast absorbing, and you can top it up as much as you like, and you can use it, well, all day, all night on dry or damp hair. So I'll leave a little link in the description below if you wanted to check that out. It's really good for dandruff. It's not medicated. It will help soothe and hydrate and, you know, relieve you from the itchiness. The thing that it did do was it definitely raised my confidence. I found that, you know, even now I do have like some spots. There's some spots on my back of my shoulders, and I do get some spots here and there in the chest and the face like normal, but I am a lot less inclined to completely cover up, and it doesn't dictate my day the way that it used to. So I do think that being on Accutane has helped me get a lot more control and feel a little bit more confident in my skin, which is definitely a good thing, because of course this was the whole reason why I went on Accutane in the first place. So I hope this video was useful. Yeah, I can't believe it's been a year, and there are some gifts that keep on coming my way, and it's interesting to say the least. But if you are thinking about going on Accutane, then please do let me know. If you have any comments, any questions on this, then be sure to drop them below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. If you found this video helpful, then please give it a like. And as always, if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do, and click that notification bell on so that you can be told every time I post a new video. I will see you really soon. Have a great week.